Sweet, man. Welcome back to the Old Hawks New Talks podcast, where we have at least 15 of you by the end of a month's period watching at least 3 minutes of this. So we're going
That
to be
might be a
hopping
little
into the
bit.
1977 NFL season from the perspective of your 77 Seattle Seahawks, second year after coming into the league as an expansion franchise.
Yes,
Anything you
sir.
got to say,
And
Shane?
yeah, so this season we're going to be part of the AFC West. And I found that switch up from 76 to 77 was planned so that they could play every other NFL team in the first 2 years. And the
Oh,
Buccaneers did the same
interesting.
thing. Yep, so they had the 14. They must have played somebody multiple times. But yeah, they got through every team in the first 2 years. Good idea by the NFL.
That's actually really interesting. I mean, I don't know how much that like matters in the scheme of things relative to like maybe the continuity of being in a division. It's like almost like if you think it'd almost be like a disadvantage for us to play again new teams each season relative to like now in modern football you have like a few different teams every season, but you have like your division rivals where you have six guaranteed games,
Right.
no matter what. And so in that sense,
Yeah,
have a lack of preparation for our opponents in division compared to what you normally would. But at the same point, they don't have as much for us. So
exactly.
just some interesting thoughts there. But that's a really neat thing that
Yeah.
people don't change divisions anymore, really. So
Yeah.
crazy to look back at that.
All right. So we're looking at our season outlook from 76. And as you can see here, and as you should have seen in the last episode, because you obviously everybody watched that. Um, we went 2-12 in our first year, really rough look. But it's our first year in the league, and we're just looking to build on those two glorious victories, get some fresh bodies in the draft, and put together a better team for this season.
Yeah, and I
And
don't know if you noticed, but there was literally a minus 200 point differential across our last season. And so we're trying to narrow the gap between us and honestly just the NFL talent level. I mean, because truthfully, we're not there. We're not in that tier yet as of the 76 season's conclusion. And so, through the draft and free agency and all that jazz, we're trying to build a roster that can be slightly more competitive in any way, really just try to catch the back of the pack.
and especially defensively,
Absolutely. Yeah.
because we were just bottom of the table defensively,
Yeah.
statistically.
Yeah.
So
Offensively.
obviously, with that in mind, we draft offensive line first two picks.
Hey man, I think that's a really important thing to, think about though. I mean, we're trying to
Oh yeah,
get an offense going too, run game and everything.
yeah. So Steve August was our first round pick this year. I never heard of him, but he sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And a tackle out of Tulsa. And I don't want to go through all these players,
No,
but we can just
absolutely
kind of
not.
look in general. It'll be easier once the draft stops being goddamn massive, but
Absolutely. Yeah. But I mean,
address some defense there.
yeah, we went offensive line, linebacker, D line, O line, and then offensive weapons. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
general trends moving up and down the board, but
Well,
basically what that board shows you is we needed talent everywhere.
seriously.
Is
Yeah.
our offensive line sucked, our defensive line sucked, our linebackers sucked, and our weapons on offense sucked, and our skill positions on defense also sucked. So
So we sucked
yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, so that was our draft. And let's see. One thing I noticed looking through this is that our chairman was a Nordstrom guy, which I assume is like, the store, which is kind of
yeah,
weird.
interesting.
Who
Huh.
knew? Anyways, head coach Jack Patera in his second season with us. Let's get into it, yeah? Week one,
Absolutely.
our second season. We're now in the AFC West with what the current AFC West is minus us.
Hmm.
And yeah, you want to go ahead with that week one, Mason?
Absolutely. And it is a fun start for the Colts. In the Kingdom, September 18th, week one, season opener of 1977. We come out and truthfully just we get beat. I mean, it seems like it was fairly competitive at half. I mean, 14-7, but we were pretty much obviously outclassed at this in this one here.
Yeah.
It looks like if you just look at the stats, Jim Zorn kind of got clamped, man. Less than 50% completion, and it's not close to 50. 164 touchdown, 4 picks. Not much on the ground either. I mean, our leading rusher had 15 carries for 58. I mean, that's not horrible, but that's not productive football. Steve Largent, probably the only highlight, getting 73 yards receiving in the game. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
Tough
Rough
loss.
start.
Took on the chin though. So yeah, man.
0-1.
Gets even better.
It does get better for the Bengals, as you were
Yes.
saying. Yeah, wow, came out slow, got down 21-0 early. There's no coming back from that. Um, Jim Zorn keeping up that great pick ratio there.
Yeah.
Picks today. Oh man, really, yeah, not much going on here that's great to talk about. We're getting almost, not quite, but almost doubled in yards so far throughout this season in both games.
Man.
David Sims, though, he's our
Yeah.
running back, had a big game, a
In the
decent
receiving.
receiving game, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Tony Benjamin, 10 carries, 37. Not
that's
great.
rough,
Great for carry,
rough,
but
rough, rough.
dude, I
So
noticed
yeah,
Jim Zorn was literally 10 for 28 passing the ball.
yeah, that's not
But
good.
when he connects with our receivers, it seems like we get some explosive plays, but yikes.
Yeah. Rough start to the season through 2 weeks. Not looking good. Were we home week 1? We were. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
were.
one home loss, one away loss. Back
Yeah.
to
And now we
Seattle against
have
the
a
Denver
horrible
Broncos.
record in both places. So that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, week 3. Yeah, I'm just gonna I keep breezing through these tough losses here. I mean, we're starting 0-3, but the gap does close a little bit. I mean, if you look, the team yardage overall is at least competitive.
Yep.
Uh, rushing the ball, we got 81 yards. That's decent. Passing 191. That's a decent, somewhat balanced thing. We definitely need to get the run game going better as well. I mean, just we need to be better in every single way.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, at quarterback, we actually had Steve Meyer coming in,
Yeah.
going 20 for 29. Pretty good completion percentage there, man. Over 67%. 165, one touchdown, one pick. Way better ratio touchdown to picks, at least, and it's 1-1. So that's how it
Yeah.
goes.
I would have
Again,
to assume Zorn got benched here
yeah,
after
absolutely. I
that
mean,
start.
he had a horrible first couple games, and then we had some decent quarterback play here where it looks like we could at least get completions on a consistent base. But what stands out to me is, again, you just look at our rushers from all 3 games, and they're not cracking good yardage, man.
Yeah. Not at
We're in the
all.
like 10 to 15 carries for between 40 and 60 yards for our leading rusher, and that's tough to win football that way, man, especially in this era.
Absolutely. Another good game from Largent, though.
Dude,
Woo!
large and even more foreshadowing, like we discussed last episode. He's pretty solid.
Yeah. So taking a quick glance at this one here, I think I just am gonna keep scrolling. No, Steve Meyer decided, hey, I had a pretty good first game. Why don't I throw 5 completions and 4 interceptions today? Um, yeah, got clowned on pretty bad. Our top receiver had 1 catch for 28 yards. We
Oh
had
my
50 total
gosh.
passing yards, 5 turnovers. Let's scroll.
Hey
That was
man, what's our rushing leader? Wait a minute. Wait
our
a
rushing
minute.
11 for 33. Yeah,
Still
that's
horrible. Never mind. Forget
not
I
good at
ever
all.
thought anything possibly positive.
Yeah,
Oh, hey
but
man. Now it's my week to talk. And
yep.
luckily that means things turn around finally. So first victory of the season after starting 0-4. Huge, huge victory against, the Buccaneers, who still suck, luckily, after joining the NFL as an expansion franchise in 76, just like us Seahawks did. And new game, same shit, man. We're still better than them. We're the best of the worst. We're simply outclassing their garbage poverty franchise.
Yep.
So cry about it, Buccaneers fans. Sorry, not sorry. We are still the better or worst team in the league.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Steve Meyer coming back with a vengeance this game. He aired it out, man. He was throwing it all over the yard, brother. 20 for 30,
Or
4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but that's the first game this season we've had a positive touchdown interception ratio by a quarterback. And
literally.
that feels like a very nice moral victory in itself. Finally had a rusher get a productive running game going.
Yep.
And it's like out of nowhere, we have a good pass game, good run game, and we win. So, any thoughts from you, Shane, after looking at this game?
Yeah, so couple things here, just interesting notes. It's funny that both of our first two seasons we were 0-5 and then 0-4 and got our first dub against like the worst, literally one of the worst teams in NFL history. I
Yep.
actually just watched a video about the 77 Buccaneers, and I think they scored like 10 touchdowns the whole season. So the fact that they put 23 up on
On
us
us,
was
it's
good,
pretty.
it's not a good look. One of the worst offenses of all time, maybe the worst. So yeah, it's a dub in the
So I just
it's
want
a
to say
dub.
we
It's a
still
dub.
didn't outyard them in the total game, though. We still
Yeah.
gave out, but I mean, it's close. We still had by far our best offensive game, not to take anything away, and we won. So thank goodness. But just interesting to me. They
Yeah.
had 6 turnovers. Yikes. We only had the 2 interceptions, so that's huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take care of the
Let's
ball. Alrighty. So week 6, coming off our first dub, we are 1-4 now. We are going to Miami to play the Dolphins. So Steve Meyer, wow, I didn't really realize just looking over stats before this that Zorn sat for quite a bit.
Yeah, man.
Um, but man, I'm getting all the bad Steve Meyer games. He
Yeah.
looked rough today. Just over 50%, 160, 3 picks though. Largent, by the way, I think he had 2 touchdowns in the Buccaneers game. Gets another
Mhm.
one today.
Yeah.
Um, bad rushing though. Yeah, 14 for 50, only 79 as a team, 3 turnovers. Can't win football that way. We were down big at half. It just got away from
And,
us.
stayed down big. But we'll come back eventually here. And that happens when I'm talking again. So
Dude,
man, maybe you should just not talk for the
unlucky.
rest of the pod and we'll just
Yeah, we might win the
but
Super Bowl.
hey man, this is the kind of game I like to read about, man.
Yeah,
Jim Thorne taking his job back with a vengeance.
hell yeah.
Still under 50% completion, but on
Crazy.
11 completions, he had just under 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That's nuts.
That's a nuts, per completion. That just makes me think like if you think throughout the game, I'm just imagining endless droughts of scoring and then 3 and outs for like 4 drives and then score on like a huge play, 3 and outs, score. And that's like just how I imagine him playing. But
Yep. Which, by the way, that's a 27 yards per completion on that
yeah,
game.
yeah,
So
that's a pretty big number,
that's
man.
pretty nuts.
Man, I mean, yeah, it's over 10, well over. I mean, it's what, like a little over, probably close to 12 yards per attempt. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a that's a good game by now standards if you just look at like passing efficiency, but he just didn't complete the ball very frequently. So that's one thing that it's probably more common in that era to have a much lower completion percentage. But Steve
Definitely.
Largent, 4 for 134 and 2 touchdowns,
Off,
baby.
off, dude.
He's that guy.
Love it.
Sherman Smith, 10 for 73 and a touchdown. Very efficient. That's beautiful to see, man. And if you just look at our total yardage, man, that is
That's
I
crispy.
what else can you want, man? Three
Yep.
turnovers is still not great. I mean, we haven't had a great quarterback play at all. I mean, this game is like probably by far the best quarterback playing game, and it still is 2 interceptions and less than
Yeah.
50% completion. But hey man, we move the ball on the ground, move the ball in the air, generally speaking. Almost 560 total yards is crazy. I mean, get the
Yeah.
turnovers down. That's an efficient offense, man. But the offense was the only thing that was even positive at times last season. So,
Yep.
I think overall pretty impressive win by us.
Um, One thing that's crazy here too is
Mhm.
that our leading rusher had 73 yards, but we had
Yeah,
333 rushing yards.
yeah. Man,
Like
that's
what?
crazy.
We
I
had
mean,
to have had like multiple, like 5 guys over 50.
yeah. I mean, if you noticed last season too, well, a little deeper, but last season we had multiple guys. It's just like our rushing distribution was very, very spread out, and we even drafted a running back in this season too. And so, I mean, I just think at this time of the way we ran our team was we spread the ball like crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
like it.
interesting to note though, that's a crazy stat line for one game. And it's back to Shane talking.
God damn it, dude. This is brutal. Brutal, brutal. Yeah, so Jim Zorn followed up his kind of good game by going 7 for 20, 47 yards and 2 picks. This is comically bad, man. Our leading receiver was our back, Sherman Smith, 3 catches for 18 yards. He actually did have a decent game on the ground, though, 10 for
Hey,
74
good for
touchdown.
Buddy. Hey man,
And that
that's a
touchdown
good fantasy
was,
game.
yeah, that was our one touchdown against their 44 points.
Sherman Smith having a pretty solid season, I'd say, given how bad it seems our team is.
Yeah, he's shown up. But no one else showed up today.
I mean,
And
yeah, you look at our rushing offense, that's a good rushing total, but everything else is horrible.
yeah, they just diced us up, man. Like they're I mean they put up 400 yards, but
Yeah, but
I
no
mean it's
turnovers. Yeah,
crazy.
and we turned the ball over 4 times. That's tough. That's tough luck.
Yeah. All
And
right,
I'm talking again.
dude. Unreal.
I almost feel bad, except for I
Let's
don't.
re-record, but I'm gonna do week one this time.
Yeah, man. But
Sucks.
here's what I'll say. First and foremost, to get kicked off, Jim Zorn is back. He's staying. He's back when I'm talking. So good game by him. Again, under 50% completion.
Well under.
First game without interception that we've seen. So that is holy cow, remarkable. Our top receiver,
Yeah.
he passed for 219 yards, and our top receiver is 2 receptions for 36 yards. That's a
Dang.
again spread the ball out, but interesting.
Yeah.
Um, doesn't seem like a great showing by our rushing team, but I mean 17 for 68, not super efficient, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Still put
enough.
up 232 rush yards total.
That's a good rushing game overall. Apparently, he just got inefficient carries. David Sims did, but that's a
Yeah.
it seems like a pretty boring game to watch if I'm being honest. Except for your Seahawks fan who's just desperate for wins. So this is
Literally.
beautiful to see a shutout. This our defense shutting a team out is just like a foreign concept after watching last season. I mean, look at the
Seriously.
box we put on that team, bro.
25,
We
99, 3 turn, bro.
we made their quarterback look like he was Jim Zorn on a week that you're reading, bro. So
Seriously. Oh my
that's
God. 4 for 9, 32 yards and 2 picks.
hits. Yeah, man. Tough game for them. They had another fumble it appears too. So
Yeah.
I'm chopped up to that's a pretty fun. Good game. Love to see it, man.
Oh yeah. One thing I don't like about this Wikipedia format is it doesn't have the other team's record. Do you see it
Oh yeah,
anywhere?
that's one thing I
Because
miss for the context of how that team's been doing this season. But
yeah.
yeah,
All right. Yeah. So obviously, because I'm talking, Steve Meyer decided to go 3 for 8 for 36 yards and a pick.
tough,
Um,
tough.
yeah, man, this is just not looking great. Don Testerman, that's the first we're hearing of him. I think he's our
And he's the
fullback.
top receiver with 25 yards. So
Yeah.
25 of
And
36, man. So
Sherman Smith had I mean, not
he got in
great
the end
game,
zone.
but decent little game. And yeah, we just got beat. I
We
mean,
saw
they didn't even play great either. They had 3 turnovers.
good yardage by them though. I mean, they ran for almost 200. I mean, talk about balanced offense by the Houston Oilers out here, man. That's a
Yeah.
very equal distributed movement of the ball downfield, man. So good for them.
All right, week 11. We got 3 wins at this point, right? Are we 3-7? I think.
Yeah, we have 3 wins,
I think
and
so.
I have read all of them. Sadly, that comes to an end, but it's still a better game than you get to read. So I'll take it. I'll take a close loss compared to a shafting that you get to read any day of the week. So,
Yeah.
close nail biter. The Chargers just simply outperform us in the fourth quarter is really what it came down to, is what it looks like to me. They came out hot 10-0 up, and we battled back, took a lead, and just couldn't hold it. Happens, but Jim Zorn, very good game by Jim Zorn relative to his other performances. Still 2 turnovers, but 4 touchdowns, and finally over 50%. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been able to say that in my life about Jim
Yeah.
Zorn on completion percentage, but he moved the ball well, 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, not good, but Hey man, Steve Largent 4 for 116 and 2 touchdowns. That's a good game for us. We had more team yardage than them, but we had 2 more turnovers, and that's probably what loses you the game.
Yep,
But
especially because they had a pick six in the fourth quarter as well. So directly
yeah,
pretty much lost us the game for sure.
yeah, man. Tough luck, tough luck,
Fortunate.
but close one. I mean, you're seeing. I think even in the bad games, you're seeing that the talent level for our team is already much greater than it was even just last season. Even though we're still not a good team by any means, we're
Definitely.
competing with teams a lot closer. There's some ugly showings, but I think
Yeah,
overall it's much, much, much improved.
indeed. So yeah, we are in Pennsylvania now for the Steelers. And oh, we're playing Terry Bradshaw. Nice.
That
Bradshaw
means,
has a pretty bad
oh,
game, but not as bad as Jim Zorn. Well, I mean,
woo!
10 for
uh,
30 is pretty bad.
that's horrible.
The
But
21 yards per completion and the 2 touchdowns positive ratio.
that's
Well,
crazy, man.
you can
Jim
get.
Zorn is just he must have been just the gunslinger of gunslingers, and not in a good way, but in a fun way to watch if you're the opponent, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh shit.
Huh.
Um, and then yeah, Largent had a good game. Sherman Smith had a decent game.
Efficient.
Turned the ball over 4 times though, so
But
that's been 3 fumbles or maybe what's his name? Our other quarterback decided to sneak in and throw a couple. Who knows? But yeah, just got outclassed at the end, especially lost by 10. But
yeah,
if you know anything about the 1970s era of the Pittsburgh Steelers, we weren't going to win this game. So
the
it's
fact
all
is, a
good.
10 point game already says something. I
Uh,
mean,
yeah.
but let's get back to me talking, folks, and that means we're winning.
Walter White? Bro. Yeah, Mr. White. 30-yard pass.
Dude,
Dude.
before he was a chemist.
Yeah, that's funny.
Watch Breaking Bad if you don't, and if you're watching this far in, thank you. I guess that's cool.
You should really watch more entertaining stuff like Breaking Bad
Yeah, you should probably
while you're
watch Breaking
here.
Bad instead, but hope you're
Yeah.
having fun. But Walter White, man, looks like it started off with him scoring, so I don't like that. But anyway, man, dub season, Jim Zorn, not a good game at all, but
Yeah.
apparently it was enough. Sherman Smith, pretty good game, 19 for 86. I mean, and he led our team in receiving with 3 for 63 and a touchdown. Good fantasy performance by Buddy over here.
Yeah.
And we barely out overall moved the ball. We had 209 rush yards. Great rushing game overall. So we must have moved that pretty well throughout our different backs and stuff. But 5 turnovers apiece
Yeah.
for the teams, and
Crazy.
5 turnovers in the game where both teams put up 30 plus points. That's impressive. And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a pick six by Dave Brown.
And they had one too here.
They had one too. That's what.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a
102
kick return?
yarder.
Oh,
What's
that's
up?
an interception. I wasn't sure. I just saw 102-yard return. I just assumed kickoff, but no, it was a pick six. So
Pick
that's good.
six. Yeah, but Dave Brown, was that for the win? Oh no, they just couldn't come back after that. Nice.
Dude, that's sick.
Good
So
win.
hey
I'm not
man.
gonna lie, I looked ahead a little bit and let me tell you, we get another dub and I get to talk about it. Season closer in Seattle against the Cleveland Browns. Jim
Man.
Zorn has just another rough game. His season stats have to be dog shit this year.
Terrible. Man.
But he was so much better than Terry Luck, which
Yeah. Ain't no Andrew.
no, he should have been named Terry Unluck because he went 6 for
Terrible. Hey,
15.
Terry's short for terrible.
Yeah, for real. Terrible luck, bro. He throw 4 picks.
It's the
Um, but yeah, our Don Testerman, fullback, had a good game. Wow, the Cleveland Browns running back had a really good game, but it was not
yeah.
enough. We were down 16-7 at halftime, and
Yeah.
then just came back
Fourth quarter,
in the
baby.
fourth quarter. Steve Largent
Man.
caught a 15-yard game-winning pass with 52 seconds left.
Man.
Yeah. Wait,
Stevie
how?
boy.
Yeah.
Good.
And let's see, we got outgained, but yeah, they turned the ball over 5 times. We only turned it over twice.
Dude, want what this reminds me of?
Weeked it out. What?
Have you seen those locker room things where it's like, Pico, can you win in the first quarter? No. Second, can no. Can you
No.
win in the fourth quarter? And, that's what this
Yeah,
makes me think of, man. Clutching up. Let's go.
real.
One
And
point.
so yeah, we round out the 76 season, missed the playoffs. I'm pretty sure we got last in the division. Let me
No,
check
I
though.
didn't think so. I thought we got
We
a
got okay, Chiefs. Chiefs helped us out there. We got fourth out of five.
man.
Yeah, finished out 5-9. Significant improvement from year one.
Absolutely.
Things are looking up. So
Absolutely.
now let's see. After the Seahawks, unfortunately and tragically, fell out of competition. The rest of the 1977 season, we're just going to cover really quick.
Absolutely.
The Dallas Cowboys took it home. I'm not sure who they played. I feel like they played the um, Steelers this year, but I might be very wrong about that. Where does it? No, wait. Super Bowl. Broncos. They beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
Ah,
All
look at
right.
that. We know something about
So what's that?
so we know a thing or two about that.
Yep, we do. Dude, I realize the Broncos have gotten beat in the Super Bowl so many times.
Tough. Hey,
Like,
don't imagine being the Bills though. They lost so many
yeah,
times. That's brutal.
it sucks.
Yeah.
MVP Walter Payton.
Walter,
Tony
sweetness.
Dorsett was the offensive rookie of the year. Took the
Yep.
Cowboys to the bowl.
Yep.
AJ Dewey, I don't know who that is, but he did good apparently. Yeah, it's crazy how low the like passing leader having 2,800 yards is just
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Different
mean,
era.
it puts more perspective to those games where we do see, like 280 yards, 290 yards. Like that's a great game at this time period, So
Yeah.
it's just something to consider when you look at the different stats of the game. But
Yeah.
yeah, man.
All right. So let's look at some Seahawks stats from that season. Let's go ahead. Should
And
have
then
had this
just a
pulled
second,
up.
just a heads up, I'm gonna have to step out and get my keys to Sydney real quick, but that'll be like a 30-second bit sure in like a minute here. But
Okay.
yeah,
Thanks for warning me.
yeah.
That could have been bad.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. We had, I forget what we looked at really. 23 to 32 for our overall. I feel like it should have been way worse than that
Yeah, it
based on
felt
that
way
game
worse
by
than that
game.
in live, but still not good. But dude,
Yeah.
our opponent stats aren't good either. So
Yeah.
s- you know,
Um,
I guess I'll take the more tubs. So that's something. But
mhm. And so remember
very
that. So we went 23 and 32. I have here the average
yeah,
for a
like
quarterback or actually for a team
yeah,
passing. This is per game, per season, the 76 season. Uh,
7.
what's that?
I said 77.
Oh yeah, you right. So yeah, the averages was 13 touchdowns and 20 picks. So we were like a pass heavy team by those
Yeah,
standards,
absolutely. Yeah,
which is just
for
crazy.
sure. But I mean, think about it. Look at what's our rushing stats, and you can kind of compare that as well. Because our opponents had way more. We had 12 rush touchdowns on the whole season, and our opponents had 21. I think is what that just said. So
Yeah, we had 12. And
yeah,
let's see, yards, 1,900 yards, 12 touchdowns.
I mean,
Let's see. Um, average was 2,000 yards, 12.6 touchdowns.
yeah,
So, I mean, I think our offense was legitimately pretty. Oh, it was. So look at this. Our offensive rank was 12th or 8th in points, 12th in yards on the
that's
season.
pretty impressive. I gotta go take a
So,
pizza real quick, but I'll be
okay.
right.
All right. I'm gonna talk shit about you to the fans. Fucking Mason. Huh. And yeah, this is weird, but now they want to talk to you. Let me get some stuff pulled up here.
I'm back. And Sydney brought Fudge Stripes, soon to be a proud sponsor of the old Talks, New Talks podcast so that Shane can have some too.
I'm jealous, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna get you loud as hell. Ready?
I,
What's up? Go back to just say what you're saying.
I couldn't hear that at all. Um, so yeah, let's just take a look at some season stats for our boys here. Zorn ended up going 16. No way, man.
What?
We gotta do some math. There was no way he was 16 and 19. He was going like
No way.
1 and 4 every game. Okay though. Yeah, Meyer went 6 and 12. Zorn actually went 4 and 6 as a starter. Good on him. 41% completion percentage. Not good on him. But again, the eras are just so crazy, man. Like, I'm trying to find completion percentage. Yeah, 51 was like the average. Oh, he's on the phone. This motherfucker. Ruining the podcast, dude. The 0 fans who are watching at this point in the video are going to be pissed.
Bro, talk to my girlfriend, brother. Maybe you should get one.
Maybe not, bro, because now I can make a fucking podcast without interruptions. Anyways, so yeah, he was still like 10 points below the average quarterback in completion percentage. So
That's
he was
horrible.
truly a gunslinger, man. Like he was just
Mm-hmm.
throwing it up there, saying a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and again, bro, so many fakes, 6 fakes, or like I don't know, maybe people just got scared or something and just chucked the ball. Who knows? It was the 70s.
Just imagine
They're
like a
trying.
regular run play
Yeah.
and David Sims 4 times is like
And then one time it just goes for 43 yards and a touchdown.
it's like
That's
he
funny.
literally turns backwards and just hucks it. He's just,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so wow, Sherman Smith had a big season.
mm-hmm.
763, 4 touchdowns. I think he had 4 touchdowns last season as well. David Sims had almost 400 yards with 5 touchdowns. Good stuff.
Again, this kind of shows the stats that we're like looking at for our team rushing and whatnot throughout the season. Very spread out across these players, man. I mean,
Yeah.
all these dudes are getting opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, honestly, they're pretty efficient. Like, generally speaking, like our leading rusher, Sherman at 4.7 per carry. I mean, our team total is 4.3 yards per attempt. That's a good number.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, 140 per game. That we just had a pretty good offense. I didn't always feel like that, but pretty
No,
impressive.
pretty boom or bust, I think, both in play by play and also game by game. Like
Mm-hmm.
we had, I think we had a 56-point game,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, and then got shut out or something or put up 7 a few times. So
yeah. Hit or miss.
receivers, Largent had a big year in the end
Mm-hmm.
zone, man. 10 touchdowns. That's awesome. 643 yards, not that much, but only, oh my God, on 33 catches
19.5 per catch. That's a
and
pretty
10
dude.
touchdowns.
Our team total average per reception is 14.1. That's pretty damn high.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
Again,
crazy. And then Duke Ferguson, Sam McCollum fell off. He was kind of our wide receiver too, had a good season the
yeah.
year before, but finished with 9 catches. Um, yeah. But keep in mind that 9 catches from Jim Zorn means he scored 9 touchdowns that were all 50 plus yards. So
I would say
yeah.
the big thing coming with that too is that I think more than it speaking to him falling off, probably speaks to our roster getting better.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know if I know Steve Rabel was on our team last season, but I don't know if
Mhm.
any of those other 3 dudes that were ahead of him were even on the roster.
I think Ron Howard was, but I might be mistaken. I can't
He might have
remember.
been, but he was tight end. I mean,
Yeah.
still a wide receiver. We had 2 tight ends ahead of him though, so but hey man, he
It's
still is
also
honestly
wild.
actually he's wide receiver 3 on our team, I guess. So
It's crazy. I just realized we had 4 receivers get a catch all season.
mm-hmm. That's
Like
nuts.
that's nuts. Now, I
Yeah.
mean, you at least have, I don't know, 8 receivers like
Yeah,
throughout
but
the
I mean, again,
course
we
of the
had
whole
33
season.
receptions to our leading guy, and
Yeah,
19 for number two. So our number three having nine, it
crazy.
really isn't that, crazy if you think about it
Like
that way. Our number
ratio
two
wise,
receiver.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because like now if you think about a team where you're getting 80 catches for your leading receivers,
Mm-hmm.
80, 60, and then drop down to like 30.
30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's pretty normal. So it's
Yep.
just interesting to look at the context of how the game was played. It's just different.
Seriously.
And do we have any return touchdowns?
No
No.
return touchdowns, but good return yardage. I mean, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yards per return, not
Return.
bad. Nothing too
Our
notable though.
opponent total was again much higher. I think that kind of like for punt
Nice.
returns. I was gonna
Oh
say
yeah.
that kind of speaks to our how again like we were talking about they have streaks. How our offense just statistically would you assume there's streaks between like scoring, not scoring,
Yeah.
because of how low the completion percentages and stuff like that. I think
Yep.
we had 10 more. They had our opponents had 10 more punt return opportunities, which in this is almost 25% extra. You know,
Yep.
across the season, and that's a huge margin. So
It's crazy.
they end up with a lot more yardage.
Indeed. Um, let's see. Defensively, I looked at this earlier, and one thing that stood out was our sacks were horrible, man.
Yeah, no rush, not
Yeah,
able to rush the passer here, man. So
yeah. I think it was 17 total here. I don't want to count it again, but I did earlier.
no,
Just
yeah. I'm
not good.
trying to remember if any of those guys were guys that we drafted, but
Um,
six
yeah,
fumbles by David Sims, bro. That's
yeah, that's rough. And Sherman Smith.
yeah.
Our turnovers were definitely hurting us. That's a
Wow.
lot of fumbles. Oh my God.
Jim Zorn only
Crazy.
had one.
Oh, good stuff.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
dude. Let's see. Picks. Autry Beamon. Haven't heard of him, but he had 6. Good year.
Good season.
Three
Dave
guys
Brown
had
again being that
4.
guy.
Yep. None of these other names sound familiar at all. Nothing too notable. Man, this guy had 157 yards on his 4 picks. That's crazy.
Almost 40 per return.
Yeah,
That's a good little, and you should put him back on those punts and kicks.
seriously. Dave Brown had the only touchdown of the season.
Mm-hmm. Who's our leading
Defensive
tackle? Oh
touchdown
wait, they don't count tackles yet. Dang,
and
I
no
really remember
tackles.
that.
Kind
But
of lame.
overall, that
Uh,
was, I mean, much better season. I think it's easy to be like, yeah, we're a 5-win team, and be like, that's pretty bad. But like
mhm.
when it's 5-9, it's a lot different than now what would be 5-12. That's something. I mean, you're probably more
Yeah.
like a 6-win team, if you kind of roughly adjust, and that's still bad. But
Hmm.
can you contextualize? We literally weren't a franchise 2 years before this.
Yeah.
That's pretty
And
impressive.
now we're like notably better than a handful of teams. Like we're
Yeah,
not the worst team in the league anymore.
yeah. Like we smoked the Bills. We put up 56 on their head. There's a couple of teams we just beat, but like being a 5-1 team, you're the bottom of the middle. I think that's a great spot to be in the second year of your franchise. So I
Yeah,
I was impressed.
I agree. I want to see here like how many. Yeah, I mean, there's like one, two, or not two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams we have a better record than. I might
Mhm.
have counted that wrong. And then multiple teams that are also 5-9. We're moving up in the world for sure.
Mhm.
And yeah, let's see here. I had Steve Largent was 20th in the league in
But touchdowns, he was
second
second.
touchdown.
That's a
Yep.
great season.
And yeah, let's see. I was gonna look at see if Sherman. I don't think Sherman Smith's rushing yards are gonna be up at all, just because
Yeah,
dudes
I
were
we're
going
so spread out.
nuts
Yeah,
back
I
now.
think
Back.
they're gonna be like 40th is my
Oh
or
shit! Wow.
wow.
Okay.
I
16th.
I literally expect him to be worse than most starters.
Yeah, I
Like
did
I
too.
expected it to be like 1,000 yards, like down to like 12 at least, but
Mm-hmm. And
drops off
Walter
quick. Up.
Payton just like ran
I
the
mean,
league
he
this
literally
year.
won MVP. So
Yeah. 1,852, 14.
5.5 per carry.
Jeez, that
5.5,
is
man.
crazy.
That's nuts.
Actually,
11 fumbles, though. That's tough.
Sherman Smith had a really good yards per carry, fifth
Efficiency,
in the
yeah.
league.
Dude,
Yeah.
look at the fumbles from Sweetness, though.
Oh, geez, yeah,
That's
not
crazy.
great. But keep in mind, he had like, I
Oh,
guess,
yeah.
I guess
Crazy
other
attack.
games, but a lot of attempts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Shane, what would you say our outlook is? We're taking this
so,
season, absorbing it. We took the step forward that we needed to kind of reach for the bottom of that middle pack of teams in the league. We're
yeah,
I think we've showed ourselves to be NFL talent, whether we're great or just very a mediocre team. I think that's a huge step forward compared to last season. So what would you say we need to do to get even better next season, man?
agreed. I think that the goal, if I were a fan or if I was, working as, in the front office at this point, a very clear goal in my mind would be to get to 500.
Mm-hmm.
If that's possible, if you can get a 7-7 season going, you're looking pretty good.
Absolutely.
And I think a big part of that, like one of the most notable things that stood
Mm-hmm.
out was just the lack of pressure. If you're leading
Sack
sack leader
like three and
had
a
three and
half.
a half and you had
Yeah.
17 as a team, like you need to get the defense going. And
Yeah.
there's very few better ways to jumpstart a defense than a dog pass rusher.
So
And once again, 28th in the league in points allowed, 27th in point or in yards allowed. Like
yeah, so I mean, I guess you'd say
bad.
we are exactly where we were the previous year on defense, but I think
Yeah,
our offense took a huge. I mean, our offense is a better end offense across the league. That's just
yeah.
kind of crazy to think about. We're a second year team, and our offense is, very easily top 15, but more like top 12 in both categories.
Hmm.
That's
It's
that's the
awesome.
thing. So our defense needs to kind of just catch up the slack. I think force
Absolutely.
more turnovers. Our offense also needs to just turn the ball over way less because
Seriously.
you put some points in yardage, but just
Yeah.
careless with the ball. And that we saw in multiple games where that literally it seemed like that was the deciding factor was just turnovers, like brutal turnover, especially the pick six against the I don't remember what team that was that we lost by 2 points to, and we had a
Oh
pick
yeah.
six in the fourth quarter. But that stuff is that'll be a huge factor I think in moving forward. But
Agreed.
I think
Alrighty.
looking forward to see that step next season. I think that's all I got, man.
Yeah, man. Likewise. All right. Looking forward to 1978. Next up.
All right, man. See y'all next year, baby. Peace.
Peace.